So, hey everyone. Well, normally at this time of year, Strag and I would be at Texas Furry Fiesta. We elected not to go this year for a couple of reasons. Most primary of which, I guess, was that last year the hotel that they were in was a little crowded. I don't think it was really well suited for crowd flow, and it just kind of at least seemed like a good time to take a break from the convention, consider other events, and we may be back. I might go back next year to try and sell some books. We'll see how that works out. I might try that just because it's a local con. It's pretty good size and it's also not too far. There's a bunch of other factors, but I might be interested in going back next year. So we'll see what happens with that. But in either case, it just wasn't in the cards for us this year, and I feel okay about that. It's a little weird knowing that it's happening without us, but at the same time I'm kind of glad that we're just not having to drive to Dallas this weekend. So I mean, mm, it is what it is. But it's okay. We got a couple of plans for Star Trek Las Vegas in August again, and we also are planning to go to Alamo City Furry Invasion, I believe, with our usual TFF partner. I have to mark that on my calendar so that I remember to prepare for it and all that other fun stuff. And I guess that's it for the preliminary stuff. In writing news, I have temporarily been working on the sequel to Winterfall while I am getting some feedback on the parts that I have shared with a couple of people. I think I need to share some bits with a couple of other folks. So far, the feedback's been really good, and I'm working diligently on the second one right now. At some point, I do want to try and increase my output a little bit, but I'm kind of just sort of taking it slow right now because, I don't want to overload and burn myself out. So, but I mean, so far it's going pretty well, and I'd have to say that I've been making progress on the sequel. The first act is finished. I was starting to work a little bit on the second act. I still have to outline 3 and 4, even though I have a basic idea of what I want to do with them, but I have to actually map it all out. And, while I was working on that, I also had an idea to turn this trilogy into something more expansive than that, which, is kind of seems to happen to me a lot, I guess, particularly when I have an idea that really works, which is kind of why I want to finish restructuring Lauren and Diana's story to get those started in the pipeline, because I can't work on any of it until I've got a plan, and a lot of it needs to be reconfigured and rethought. And the only thing that might not be is Sunset's Edge, because the comic was finished, and I really kind of don't feel like starting over from zero with that one. But I might, I'm sure I'll have to work on the notations some more and such. But the important thing is just to keep my outlining ahead of where I'm actually writing so that I know where I'm headed and can keep that relatively consistent. But so far it's been going pretty well, and I've been happy with what I've been working on. Um, Last night I just kind of had kind of like, I guess, one of those brain farty moments, which I used to have a lot, but I don't have as much anymore. I wasn't really happy with what I was putting down. It was the start of a new chapter, the start of another section of the book, and it just wasn't really going well. But then I kind of got up this morning and took another stab at it, and it worked pretty well. So, I mean, I'm reasonably happy with what I have down this morning, so I'm going to chalk that up as a plus. But, overall, I'm still on track, and things are going well-ish. So, but we'll see how things go. I mean, I kind of like the rhythm I have now. I would ideally like to be able to increase that level of output just a little bit. Just to have a couple of things rolling at once, just so that I can, I guess, make a little bit more progress. But I also want to make sure that I don't overload myself, because it's a lot of work as it is, and it's going to take a while. And this is definitely something that's probably going to suck up quite a bit of time going forward. But I mean, in a good way, I hope, because I would like to try and keep consistent, steady output. And even if that's the most that I do, that'll be pretty good, because consistent, steady output over time adds up to a lot. It's all these things I used to tell myself that now it's actually seeming to work in my favor. Um, but for right now, I'm probably going to keep working on what I am working on. I guess until probably either I change gears or I run out of road. In which case, I'll switch to one of the other projects that I have finished. Work on that for a little while until I have some more of a plan for some of the other things. I know I still have a couple of little projects that I need to try and finish, which is mostly done, but it's just been I've been trying to keep the momentum on the project I'm working on. But we'll see. But let's see. In video news, today I am working on a vlog as usual, and I will probably be trying to work on either a book review or a writing video, and maybe a little bit of both, because with the first videos, it requires a little bit of extra work, but I might just kind of do two of them at once, just to sort of, I guess, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, and move the needle forward with making some progress, because I really want to try and keep a good buffer ahead of me, which is going pretty well. And I would like to sort of just, I guess, keep the flow, because that seems to be working pretty well for me. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, and it keeps me busy, but it's been in a good way. It's like, rather than feeling stressed and behind, it's just keeping me active. I've always got something to do. As far as books I'm reading, I finished Harm's Way. I will be working on the script for that review probably sometime this weekend, and then get that into the eventual pipeline. Right now, I actually am spoiled for choice, I think, for book reviews, because I have a bunch that I can record, a bunch that I can film, and I might use that as an opportunity to rearrange the schedule a little bit, because I want to sort of get some of the fandom projects in earlier than some of the other ones, because right now I'm pretty far ahead of myself. And I would like to eventually get some of those reviews out for the fandom authors. But I am reading the Complete Red Vixen Adventures by Royce Day. I am right now in the first novella. I'm 80 pages out of 100 and something of the first section. I probably will not read the entire book all at once, because it's a rather thick tome. But I'll probably read at least a novella, maybe two, and then switch gears. Maybe check out the anthology that I have and come back to it, or maybe read rafts. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to, I guess, divert my attention to where it does the most good, and not keep myself stuck with anything too long, or not stuck really, but just long books. Sometimes I get antsy, and I feel like I'm not, it feels like you're not making progress or something. And I don't know. We'll wait and see how that boils down. But I am also starting Scars of the Golden Dancer by Night Eyes Dayspring, which will be coming up relatively soon. I didn't buy it last year at TFF just because at the time I had a lot of stuff on my plate. But I think that I think it'll be a good book. I knew that I would kind of probably end up reading it eventually. I don't know exactly what to expect, to tell the truth. I don't even know if I've read the back jacket yet. But the cover looks good, and I've read some of his work before, so I mean, it's promising. But as with anything, I'll read it, I'll see what I think, and I'll let all of you know. But I have reasonably good expectations for most of this stuff, because by and large, we collect a pretty good cluster of authors, especially in the Fireplace, Voice of Dog podcast. Obviously there's some out there that need a little more work, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. But we'll see. I'll check it out, and I'm sure it'll be interesting, and I'll hopefully be able to tell you more about it when I've had a chance to read a couple of chapters and kind of get a feel for what this book is. Okay, so the next thing to discuss is that I do plan to be visiting Mom. I will be hopefully going to see her in a couple of weeks, which is kind of soon-ish. But when I was looking at my upcoming work calendar, it really just looked like that was going to be the best window for what I was doing. And I think that that'll work out. We are, I'm going to go pretty much for the same duration of time I had planned to go the last time, from Sunday to Friday, and it should minimize the impact on most everything I'm doing. It's a comparatively good time to be away from work because it'll be after the month end stuff, so all that'll be done. And I will be taking my laptop with me to hopefully maybe keep some progress while I'm gone. Um, I'll have to copy some of my notes just so I have something to work from. And, probably try and do some reading. I guess we'll see, what we can do. Because, primarily I'm there to visit, but I do want to try and do some stuff while I'm there, personal and other things. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. I was supposed to do it in January, but of course, some of you may remember I had a sore throat the week before I was supposed to go. So I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to travel, but I feel good. And, hopefully we won't have that issue again this year. But, I'm taking vitamins and doing what I can to keep healthy. So, we'll do what we can, and I'll have a report when I come back. As far as the last thing I want to talk about right now with this vlog is Star Trek Picard. It's halfway through its 3rd season, and I would say that if you haven't seen it, if you're even the mildest fan of The Next Generation, you really owe it to yourself to check this out. I mean, so far, I knew that the 3rd season they were going to pull out all the stops, but the 3rd season has been really strong and just a really good narrative and something that I am looking forward to seeing the rest of. It's been very good so far, and with us reaching the halfway points, like I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that there are quite a bit of surprises that will completely take you just out of nowhere, and it's very all it's all good, it all makes sense, and it's all really interesting to see what they're going to do with it. So I'm looking forward to the other half. And let's see, as I guess I can say this, as far as Patreon, I have consolidated all of my Patreon activities onto my one Patreon. I had 2 Patreons, one under each email. Originally, one was just for subscriptions that I was following, and the other one was just for my own personal stuff when I started running one. And ultimately, I decided it was just too complicated to keep the 2 running, so I'm just closing down the one that I used to follow people, because I figured out how you can be a creator, and also follow other patrons on your own the same account. So I've consolidated everything there. I've picked up a couple of subscriptions that I used to have to drop because of money issues, like Ink Tiger, I think, and I picked up Mike Graywolf, whose work I really enjoy, and of course I follow Jackal, and that reminds me I have to send her information about a cameo. But anyway, that's what's going on with Patreon. I can also mention that assuming things go well, I might be able to start re-releasing some writing on Patreon eventually, and then start releasing it publicly. I mean, it may not be quite as large of a lead as the video stuff, the 6 months early, just because of the fact that I just don't want to keep too much stuff waiting too long. But I do want there to be at least some degree of early access, because I don't really know if I have time for exclusives, like stories that are just going to be on Patreon. And at least for right now anyway, my audience is not large enough, so it's like even if I did do something just for Patreon, I don't know if there would be anybody that would actually get to read it. Or if they did, that it would just be like 1 or 2 people, and it just seems like even if it's just written for my own sake, I would like a little bit more engagement than that. But we'll figure that out as we go. But when I'm ready to do that, I will let you guys know what's going on, what's coming, what's going to be releasing on Patreon, and all that fun stuff. So that's it for now, and I will catch you all later. If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. See you next time.